Bananas in pajamas are coming down the stairs. Bananas in pajamas are chasing teddy bears. Great sex or great communication? Can I tell you that this is the hardest question, hands down, of all the questions that I receive? I don't know, honestly. It's funny because my answer probably has changed. We'll go with great sex, because I feel like to have great sex, you have to have great communication. And to have great communication, you don't necessarily have to have great sex. So we'll go with great sex. The trans issue that I think really isn't discussed much is the guys that are living stealth, and all of the issues that you have and problems that you come into transitioning, especially from a lesbian lifestyle or just from the gay community to the straight community. And there are a lot of like emotional and developmental boundaries that that you get into that I can talk about later, because I would seriously spend 10 minutes on just that. But yeah, that's the one issue I don't think is discussed as much, because most of the guys that are out or that are on the internet are not stealth for obvious reasons. So I'm sort of a hybrid, I guess. Gender neutral pronouns. I probably feel about the same way about pronouns that I do about almost any other like personal opinion. Basically, like, you do what you want to do. If it makes you comfortable, that's what I call you. I think that it's a good middle ground for the people that are unsure. But I also think that your sex and your gender are not necessarily the same, so your pronouns don't always have to match. You know? So, I don't know. I was never comfortable using gender neutral pronouns just because I never felt gender neutral to begin with. But I'm down for them. Okay, my meet cute was Zena, which is the time we met, if you don't know. She gave me her number in the Starbucks drive-thru. The intro jingle mystery. I do have one. I just apparently have a computer that can't format the file properly. So if anyone wants to help me with that, then I might have an intro, but I kind of think these are more fun. I told my girlfriend I was trans. Funny story. She actually ended up finding out, but we talked about it, I guess, a month or so in, something like that. And at first she didn't really take it well. She felt kind of deceived, and which is understandable, because, you know, it's a fine line. I don't personally think that you should tell people right away, but the longer you wait, you know, the more it looks like you're trying to hide who you are. So I kind of usually get to know someone and go out on, you know, a few dates or a few weeks of dates, depending on how busy their schedule is. And if I feel like it could go somewhere, then that's when I take the risk and tell them, and that's what I did with her. So eventually we talked through it, and I mean, she's been nothing but a great support ever since. So okay, my number one reason for transition, and obviously don't take me too seriously because this is just me being funny. Do you remember in the 80s, if you were a kid in the 80s, those white socks with the doilies around them, like they thought that your ankle needed a decoration? Really? Like, really? Tell me that's the sole reason why I transitioned. My siblings have always been really cool. My sister is 6 now, but she was 3, turning 3 when I started to transition. And it's funny because kids are so matter-of-fact. Like, she used to say things like, there was one time, and she came up to me and she was like, "So, you used to have long hair and you were a girl, but then you had short hair and you were a boy. Can I have some cereal?" Like, just in the middle of her entire conversation. Like, that's just how she processes it. So my 2 older brothers, well, older than her but younger than me, have been really cool. You know, they got the pronoun things, they understood. I think because, you know, they knew me so well and they grew up with me, so it wasn't really a surprise that I didn't necessarily feel that way. But they've been really cool. Dating after transition is really difficult. I never really dated lesbians, even though I guess I quote-unquote identified as one. I always dated straight women. Every person that I've dated has never dated me before. I was the first with every person that I've ever dated. So I don't know what that says. My advice for trans teens or genderqueer teens or teens in high school is just to be careful and take your time. I know, especially in high school, everyone's trying to, kind of figure out where they're at and who they are, and identity is a huge crisis. So I would just kind of say, take baby steps and do things that make you comfortable. And the more comfortable you are, then the more you'll realize where you stand. And then you can deal with it. People, no matter if you're in high school, middle school, college, they're always going to be critical. And until you can develop a thick skin, I wouldn't necessarily say put yourself on parade, and unless you're comfortable with that. And the more comfortable you are with yourself, the less that you'll care what they think. I'm a Virgo. I wanted to be a doctor, a lawyer, an Indian chief, a writer, the trash man, a milkman, the ice cream man. I wanted to hand things out, apparently. Barefoot or with shoes? Definitely barefoot, but with white socks. I always wear white socks. Most terrifying moment? My parents got into a four-wheeler accident about 4 years ago, and I almost lost them. That was probably the most terrifying moment I've had so far. How did I meet the Beavs? Actually, we used to be a baby beaver just like you guys, and I applied to make videos, and met them through the interwebs, and then eventually in person. So we go way back, let me tell you. How do you write so well? With a pen? Religious opinions. I grew up Catholic and was therefore traumatized, of course, so I took a huge sabbatical, if you will, from faith in general, and in the past couple of years I've been working my way back. I guess you could say I'm a believer in the big guy. Zena and I have been together since last July, which makes how many months? You tell me. I don't remember. 10? 9? Something like that. My favorite song in 6th grade was Truly Madly Deeply. My favorite song in 7th grade? Probably Boyz II Men. I went through a huge Boyz II Men, R&B, soul phase, but I grew up on classic rock, and I don't really have a favorite song. It really depends on my mood. I've been listening to a lot of Wilson Pickett, James Brown, Ryan Doyle, Tegan and Sara. Depends. Favorite movie? Top 3. A Bronx Tale, Boondock Saints, and Shadow of a Doubt. What do you do with a drunken sailor? You make him walk the plank. My favorite sport's baseball. I transitioned at age 21-ish, and it took me about a year and a half before that to work through everything and decide that it was the right decision for me. So I guess mentally I've been transitioning for about 4 years now, ish, give or take. Where do I get my clothes? The thrift store, Old Navy, Walmart, Friends, my floor, American Eagle, because I used to work there, PacSun, buy a lot of Toms, I don't know, wherever is cheapest. I've had a lot, well, not a lot, I'm not trying to brag, but a few gay guys hit on me, especially when I was first transitioning, which is really funny because I probably looked 12, and now I look like 15, but I usually just brush it off, laugh, give them a high five, tell them I'm not interested. I'm not awkward about it. Working out my fitness. I would like to say that I work out a lot, but I don't really ever. Mostly because of time. I'm a full-time student, I have a full-time job, full-time girlfriend, so working out is kind of difficult. But when I do work out, I just like to lift a lot of weights or play sports or something. I don't really like to run. Actually, I hate to run outside or on the treadmill, or any sort of condensed running period is just not good for me. My favorite grocery store aisle? Definitely breakfast food. I love breakfast. I think I've already said that, but cereal, Pop-Tarts, toaster strudels. I guess that covers numerous aisles, but you get the picture. My dream vacation. Backpacking through Europe. Okay, this has been my speedy question update. I'm sorry it's not more interesting, but you guys had a lot of questions, which is awesome. And all the video comments I just decided to put in the sidebar, so you didn't have to hear me ramble. I just listed them out for you. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll catch you next week. Peace.